mail you a shipment meant for another customer. For example, one of our viewers up in Walrus Tongue, Arizona, Mr. Chap Lipschitz. That's right. Sent away for a pair of long johns. Now, they crossed up his order and sent him an item meant for Secretary of Defense Caspar Weinberger. Instead of thermal underwear, he received thermonuclear underwear. Here's a letter here. From June Tuna of Blowhole, Montana. Dear Mr. Howitzer, until recently, my husband worked at the Coleco Company. Last month, he was buried alive under 2 tons of Cabbage Patch Kid foam rubber guts. To get over my depression following his death, I decided to use the insurance money to redecorate the den. I phoned a carpet company and sent them a check for $9,000 for an Oriental rug. Boy, did they see me coming. Well, boy, did they see you coming. She was right. This unscrupulous carpet company sent Mrs. Tuna an Oriental rug, a toupee made in Taiwan. Among the biggest scams we know are those ads that promise you'll look 200 pounds thinner overnight. A disillusioned victim of this come-on has agreed to join us in person tonight. He sent these con men a certified check for $700 to make him look thinner overnight. And wait till you see what he got in the mail. Will you welcome, please, Mario Humungo of Exeter, Ontario. See, the idea here was he's a big man, and they were going to make him look thinner. So they painted a thin man suit on this very large man. Thank you, Mario. $200 for that outfit. Earlier, we were talking about Cabbage Patch Kid. I'm not giving up. You're probably aware there are counterfeit Cabbage Patch Kids on the market. Let me show you the difference. This is a real Cabbage Patch Kid. That's right. And this, my friends, is a very subtle, hard to detect counterfeit. If you receive one of these, contact your local district attorney. They also tried to fake off, palm off. They also tried to palm off a larger version, a fake larger version of a Cabbage Patch Kid. And here is that fake larger version. If you receive this version, do not contact the district attorney. Simply ship it COD over to my office. I'll see that it gets my immediate attention. This is David Howitzer saying, look for the union label. Read those labels, friends.
While serving in Iraq, our vehicle was hit, and it was bad. Back home, I had to learn to live with the scars, both visible and invisible. Having someone on your side means everything.
DAV helps veterans like LaToya get the benefits they've earned. They help more than 1 million veterans every year.
My victory is overcoming my wounds so I can help other veterans.
Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
And now, a presidential moment from the Johnny Carson Show.
Sir, would you describe the winter at Valley Forge?
It was bitterly cold at Valley Forge. Many soldiers' toes were falling off from frostbite. Hundreds of men died, froze to death. But on a brighter note, it was great for us skiers.
Mr. President,
Yes.
we hear the troops at Valley Forge were forced to wear rags on their feet.
That's true. Betsy Ross's sister, Melilla Ross, swiped all their shoes.
Yeah.
If you just joined us, Peter Fonda will be out later. Hey, Whitney Brown. My first guest, you all know, he has been a frequent visitor to our show. He's a very talented actor and director who is currently between jobs. Usually you say currently he's directing or he's acting in, but he currently, as they say, is at, I guess, at liberty in our business.
You come out to plug that.
That's right. Charles wants to come on and tell you where he's not working. Anyway, we hope 1985 will be a super year. Would you welcome Charles Riley? I mentioned you had nothing to plug tonight. Does it feel strange to come on a show like this and have nothing currently to say?
I really don't have that much anyway going for me.
Well, you were
Now, I
directing.
like the sketch. You see, you could have fooled me. I sat there with everybody and we all laughed. It's hard to work without your real hair. You know what I mean? And I thought you did wonderfully.
We
So-
thought costuming would help the sketch.
Yes,
here.
now am I in the right segment? I'm comedy, but more not that on the nose comedy, sort of like humorous sections.
That's right.
And you know what I mean? So if
50 sayings.
the orchestra wants to play at any time, just go right ahead.
Yeah. If it doesn't go well,
Happy
we can stop
New
it.
Year. I'm
Same
sorry
to
to
you.
interrupt.
Did you have a
Happy New
nice?
Year.
What'd you do New Year's Eve?
New Year's Eve, I thought it stopped that last. You know, I have a friend that owns a good restaurant, and so I always get a friend that owns a good restaurant, and so I went and he had a wonderful orchestra, and we went dancing. I danced with 3 women, which is rare for me.
Why did you? I mean, all at the same time or what?
One, but I don't dance at
I
all.
see. Well, good.
You know what I mean?
Do they have? Can I jump in here?
Yes.
Sometimes I think maybe you're meditating.
Happy
You
New
kinda
Year.
look
No, no. That would be another act at a different time. I do the meditation.
But you're doing your mantra or
No,
something.
what were you going to say?
I was going to ask you. I never know when you come to the end
I know,
of the
but
sentence.
it's getting worse year after year. And 23 years I've been honored to be in this
I know
chair.
that.
You know what I mean? And I feel the band might play at any minute, but I'll keep going.
You seem to be a cult of one. We'll be back in just a moment.
You know, at drivetime.com, you can get approved, shop thousands of cars, and customize your payments.
With no hit to your credit when you shop online.
Amazing. What's with the pinata?
Well, to show people that usually if you want to see your real terms online, your credit takes,
Everybody knows that, Tom.
but not at drivetime.com. I'm a visual learner, Kim.
Well, now you can see your real terms on every car and customize your down and monthly payments.
With no credit hit.
Shop for cars online with no credit hit at drivetime.com.
All the buzz around Bitcoin isn't just talk anymore. Crypto has gone mainstream. At iTrust Capital, you can buy and sell cryptocurrencies 24/7 with the tax benefits of an IRA. That's right. With an iTrust Capital IRA, you can defer taxes until retirement or choose a Roth IRA for tax-free withdrawals later. Setting up an account is quick and easy. It only takes minutes. Open your account today at itrustcapital.com. The new era of crypto is here.
I want to beat cancer. I'm going to beat it. That's no doubt in my mind. I'm going to win this battle.
Defeating cancer will take all of us. At the V Foundation, V is for victory over cancer. V is for victory over the odds. V is for victory over giving up.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Join the V Foundation team in the fight against cancer at V.org.
He told the vice president he would be better off if he put on a little weight. Mondale told the doctor, he said, look, if you had nothing to do, you'd nosh too. Nosh, you see, is nibbling here or there. Did this go on? What did this say? What? I explained what wrong? I said, if you had nothing to do, you'd nosh too. I told him you should put on a little weight. Take off a little weight. Look, I'm gonna be like General Motors. There was a defect in that joke. I would like to recall that joke and fix it for you. And fixing it is to be that he was a little underweight. No, he was a little overweight. And was too heavy. Should take off a little weight rather than it's too late now. But that's the way that joke goes. You know, halfway through that, I didn't understand that joke myself. Peter Fonda will be out in a little while. Hey, Whitney Brown. And we are talking with Charles Nelson Riley. I haven't seen you, well, since Christmas, of course. Did you get nice gifts?
I got
Did you get anything you wanted?
No, I didn't get anything I wanted. I got a strange group of gifts. Seeing I'm a director, I have a lot of friends, but I fight with a lot of friends when I work with them, so I get half of what I thought I would get, because that's what's difficult about being a director.
You mean if you break up?
And then it has its good side, because you only have to give half of what you thought you'd give, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So anyway, I
remember when you were a kid and you break up with your girl before Christmas or your...
And then you didn't have to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty cheap trick. Yeah.
So I got a vacuum cleaner. You know what I mean? A vacuum cleaner for my boat, because I always take the vacuum cleaner from home. So I got a vacuum cleaner. I got a stove.
What did you use before?
A vacuum cleaner from the house. And it looks silly to rugged.
You mean a stove for the boat?
Yeah, just for the boat. And then I got a stove, and I got a cover for the stove, and a spice rack, and I felt like a bride. You know what I mean? I mean, what's wrong with a brown outfit?
No linens or anything
nothing
like that?
like that. And so it was kind of, but anyway.
Well, that's a nice Christmas. What's the worst Christmas? I hate to get...
Well, no, I was very poor.
Well, you've said that before.
Yes, and we never had too much at Christmas, and it was sad because I was an only child, and I lived with my mother and father in this two-room apartment. And you see, Christmas was when my mother said, "Father's getting ready for Christmas," which meant that he would go in the garbage and find the old empty bottles of good whiskey, empty.
Yes.
You see what I mean? Then he would come home and he would fill them. You know what I mean? So that when the people came...
Fill them with what?
With 88 cents worth of the cheap stuff. You see what I'm saying? So we had all these big bottles on the bridge table and an inch in the bottom of the cheap stuff, so that we could feel like we belonged. But it didn't matter because nobody came anyway. And the thing was, then my father would start to go into the bottles, and I was like 4 or 5 years, I remember. And then he would decorate the tree, you see.
Yeah.
And every time he finished the tree, my mother at midnight would tear it down. Now, this is not I'm not trying to be funny.
Why at midnight?
I don't know. It's sort of like Christmas Eve, and it's on the nose, Cinderella, that kind of stuff. But the thing was, that's when the tree hit the floor. See, my mother always had this sense of emergency. See what I mean?
I believe that, yeah.
Even after I was born, there was this sense of emergency. But the thing is, then she came to visit in California years ago, and there was this big pink tree on the Playboy Club on Sunset Boulevard. And we're driving down Sunset Boulevard in a big wind, and right in front of the car, the tree fell right in front of the car.
An omen.
And I looked at my watch. Of course, it's a Christmas omen. I looked at my watch, and it was 9 o'clock in California, but 12 o'clock in Hartford, where the famous 12 o'clock tree dismantling took place. So it wasn't that a wonderful Christmas. And then I moved in the village. When I first went to New York, I had the fortune to move in this gangster territory area, which was, may I say, terrific for excitement. And that was like 10, 12 years of wonderful Italian friends that I had in the village. So anyway, you'd come home toward Christmas.
Did you think they didn't hear you when you said Italian?
No, that was a stage whisper, Don.
I see.
But anyway, I would come home at 6 or 7 o'clock at night, and there'd be a man, like played by Abe Vigoda, leaning against the building. And he would say, "Canned hams." So you'd go up, I lived in 2B, and you would go up to Marie, who was in 3C.
Yes.
And she had on the floor of her apartment 10 cases of canned hams. Then you'd get 3 hams for like $1.
Right.
And the next night you'd come home and he'd be leaning against the building and he'd say, "Leather goods." A better day. So you'd go up to Marie. You'd go up to Marie and you'd get a couple of wallets for 50 cents because the stuff had to get out by the next shipment.
Of course.
Then if you came and there was like a line halfway between the second and third floor waiting, you knew that it was appliances that day. You see, so you get your, get some stuff good. But that was a wonderful Christmas feeling, because friends wouldn't go shopping. They'd just come down with me, and then it'd either be a ham or a bologna, or you might get an Italian sweater.
You never know.
You never knew about it, but it
was a good
fun.
day.
Then one of the Christmases, is it still time?
Time for what?
I don't know.
No, you can go right ahead.
One of the Christmases I remember was when my first Christmas I was on the stage.
How old were you?
14.
Right.
What happened was, I was 16. No, I was 14. But I hate people that write biographies that said when I was 7 years old, I wore the red sweater. How can they remember? I was 14, but I was tall, but I was working as an usher because I lied. I said I was 16.
Well, that would make you actually 14.
So I was in the second balcony ushering because they didn't want to put me right on the main floor. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I wasn't that strange either. I don't understand, but I was in the second floor ushering, and it was the Black Hills Passion Play. Was very famous. A man played Christ for decades named Joseph Mayer. And they were coming through Hartford to do their Passion Play, and it was Christmas, and I was ushering in the balcony, and it was a terrible storm, and the company manager came flying back to the head usher and said, 2 of the men in the company are ill. Is there anyone who is a young actor that works here, or anyone wants to be an actor? Is there anyone that has any flair? You know what I mean? Well, I was up in the balcony ushering, so I had flair.
That's flairable enough.
You know what I mean? I couldn't do sports because I couldn't see the ball, but I could get the patrons in the seats. So anyway, they took me backstage because you know why they have to have 12 men in the Passion Play?
Disciples?
Very good. But not only that, they do one of the big scenes which would have torn anyone's heart out, the other ushers said, was the Last Supper.
Yes.
You see, you got to have them, and I was the one on the end. So anyway, I came with my suit backstage. I took off my glasses, put on a wig. I had my own hair. It was beautiful. They put a wig on. And then they put a donkey in my hand with a cord and sandals and a toga. And I couldn't see anything. So they said, just wait until the crucifixion scene, and then you'll go on. So, okay, fine. Now, the other usher that was chosen was my friend Schwartzy, because he was tall, and he had a flair, too. A lot of the ushers had flair.
Yes, I'm beginning to pick up on that.
So anyway, I was standing like this, couldn't see, and I had a palm leaf in this hand, and the donkey cord with the donkey who smelled worse than the sandals, and the toga, and I was 14, lying that I was going to make my entrance. And the woman said, just go out with the others, and when they yell, crucify him, just yell, crucify him. So I went, crucify him, crucify him. And then he was on the cross, this wonderful actor, and the effects, the lightning and the thunder. I was petrified. It was so real. I couldn't see, so it made it look better. You know what I mean? I could see. And I see it, so everyone's screaming, crucify him, and I was screaming, Schwartzy! Schwartzy! So they said after I took my toga off, I put the glasses on.
Yeah.
I want to see the band.
Yeah.
So, after they took my toga off and the wig off and everything else off and the donkey away, they said to me, you don't have to do it tonight.
Oh.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
But it wasn't that good a debut, but it was at least...
Sounds fascinating.
Those were how the Christmases went, Johnny. Gives you an idea. I just wanted a brown outfit one day with a red silk tie, but maybe tomorrow.
I suppose so. We'll take a break. We'll be right back.
need to go.
Really?
It's important.
I feel fine.
Look, you cannot mess around with this kind of stuff. Some cancers, we just don't want to lose you from something we could have caught. What I need to do? You just give your doctor a call. They'll tell you what screening test you need.
Fine. Can I have my pie now?
Oh, man.
If you aspire to be a smooth baby dolphin, here are 5 reasons why now is the best time to start laser hair removal. 1, you'll be smooth by 2, it's most effective without a tan. 3, less stubble for more snuggle. 4, time for free touch-ups before summer. 5, you'll get 1 free treatment this month. Visit MilanLaser.com to start your transformation today and make a splash by summer.
The object of the game is to put a puck in my goal and
Right,
for me to put right. Well, we have to have a referee or something, but I'll let you start off.
Now, what do I do?
You just hit it, try to get it in there. You know, it'll ricochet around there pretty quick.
Oh, I see.
Go ahead, start. No, you didn't. This is the goal.
Oh, I see. I don't.
Right.
I have to stay with this.
Right.
Nobody's thing. That's a game. I thought you just.
You pick it at 2
Well,
minutes.
see, I'm more used to shuffle. I'm used to shuffleboard down in St. Petersburg.
Where is it, Harry?
My next guest, been with us several times. A. Whitney Brown is here. He has a unique style. Next week, he'll be appearing at the Punchline in San Francisco, and he'll be seen on a new television series on NBC next spring called Television Parts. Would you welcome A. Whitney Brown?
Happy New Year, everyone. Welcome to 1985. Another thrilling trip around the sun. I hate to see 1984 go, though. It was so exciting. The Cubs almost won the pennant last year. Well, I'm glad they didn't, though, because that's one of the signs of the apocalypse. It's written in the Bible, ye shall know the end is nigh when the small bears from the windy place take the flag. But we were at peace the whole year, more or less, in this country. And that's great. I guess nobody wants to mess with us anymore since we put our foot down in Grenada. Maybe it didn't take a lot of strategy to knock over a fruit stand with 2 aircraft carriers, but it's the thought that counts. And it started a wave of patriotism that's gripped this land like a pit bull on a chuck roast. We have every right to be proud of where we are. Look at this country, the world's greatest location. An ocean view on either side. To our north, Canada, in case we ever run out of natural resources. To our south, Mexico, in case we ever run out of people that'll work for 10 cents an hour. It's the kind of place you could kick back, raise a few families. Personal vision of the American dream. It's a proud place to be, too. The kind of place you can live in peace, not like those war-mongering, land-grabbing Russians. Boy, they seem uptight. Of course, look where they are. They're in Russia. It's got the world's greatest piece of real estate. On our west, we have Washington and Oregon, where picnic tables and redwood fences grow on 300-foot trees. To their west, they have Germany. It's a nice country, Germany, but let's just say they get a little restless every 35 or 40 years. To our south, we have Florida. To the south of the Soviet Union, China. That doesn't make you a little paranoid over a billion nearsighted drivers ready to race over gridlock the traffic for 1,000 years. To the north of the Soviet Union, nothing is to the north of the Soviet. South is to the north of the Soviet Union. And if at times the Russians seem a little edgy, perhaps it's because they share the same landmass with India. That would keep me up late at night imagining what 750 million ravenous vegetarians could do to your potato patch. On our southwestern border, we have the great state of Arizona. It's a veritable paradise if you happen to be a piece of petrified wood or an aging Republican living in a trailer park. On the to the southwest of the Soviet Union is the wonderful country of Iran. 75 million freaks. And if you don't think they're mean, just ask any of the one-armed shoplifters over there. And on top of that, the Russians are now up to their furry little hats in Afghanistan. That was a brilliant military move. Some genius in the Politburo decided they needed a little more barren territory. Clearly, they couldn't restrain themselves at the thought of so many yak herds and impoverished villages right to the clutches. So 5 years and 115,000 troops down the line, they are now the proud owners of 3 blocks in downtown Kabul. They probably thought, we'll move in, we'll take over. Whoever heard of a Muslim holding a grudge? Economically, the Russians have been hurting ever since the bottom dropped out of the tundra moss market. Their leading export is cultural talent. Everyone defects from the Soviet Union. And who defects to the Soviet Union? British homosexual spies. And we're now starting arms talks, but I don't care. Tell you the truth, I'm not afraid of dying in a nuclear misunderstanding. I think the whole threat's been blown way out of proportion. I have a feeling our descendants will look back at the entire brouhaha in a few generations and laugh their feelers off. And you know something else? I would almost rather die as one of 300 or 400 million people than I would die alone in the gutter somewhere. But then I'm a people person.
Fall is here, hear the yell, back to school, ring the bell, brand new shoes, walking blues, climb the fence, books and pens. I can tell that we are gonna be friends. I can tell that we are gonna be friends. Walk with me, Susie Lee, through the park and by the tree. We will rest upon the ground and look at all the bugs we found. I can tell that we are gonna be friends. I can tell that we are gonna be friends. I can tell that we are gonna be friends.
What will you do when the power goes out? Power outages can be unpredictable and inconvenient, but with a Generac home standby generator, your life goes on uninterrupted because you'll have power when you need it the most.
The number one thing to prepare for is extended power outages. Don't make it so hard on yourself. Have a Generac home standby generator.
And special financing and low monthly payment options are available. Call or go online now to request your free quote. Power your life with Generac.
My first guest is a good friend. He does everything well in the entertainment business. Would you welcome Mr. Carl Reiner? You possessed of the devil.
I feel so good.
Saint Vitus Dance.
You know, I listened to that band. The last time I was out, the band inspired me.
And you did a little dance the
Yes.
last time you were here.
And I was so happy. I didn't have a heart attack.
My next guest, Peter Fonda, has made 30 films, and he's currently starring in the NBC television world premiere movie, A Reason to Live, which will be on Monday, January the 7th, from 9 to 11 p.m. Would you welcome, please, Peter Fonda?
Happy New Year, everyone.
Yeah. Man, it has been a long time since I've seen you.
Too long.
Yeah, you're looking
I thought
wonderful.
it was something I said the last show.
You look like a happy man. I
I'm
mean
a
that.
happy man.
You look contented, and I remember you had a period in your life.
Well, I wasn't quite so contented.
You
on
weren't
the show.
contented, yeah. You were kind of going through that lifestyle, and now I think you've said that you look out on life and say, "Eat your heart out," something like that. Was that almost a quote?
That's a close quote, yes. Yeah. It's a broad quote, but it's a close quote. You see, I moved close to Blowhole, Montana.
Yeah, you used to live weren't you on a boat for a while?
Yeah, you know, as a matter of fact, Charles.
Yes, we are on this beautiful boat, Tartouche.
Tatouche.
Tatouche.
I watch Tatouche.
Tatouche. Now you got a ranch?
I have a ranch 40 miles north of Yellowstone Park and the Yellowstone River.
That's going to be beautiful.
And it's very calming. Montana is the fourth largest state in the Union with a population of 782,000. So there's buku space.
Yeah.
And Blowhole is actually up in Canada. It's near the border, but it's not
Wasn't Cleet Roberts, not Cleet Roberts, what am I thinking?
Chet Huntley?
Chet Huntley. Yeah. Very big on Montana.
Mm-hmm.
Lived
Big
up
Sky,
there.
Montana, which is fairly near my ranch. And of course, Mike
Letting the air out of the sketch.
And you told me not to fool around.
Wow,
You told me don't fool around when you get out there. You may have
that period, you get tired of those inevitable comparisons, which everybody seems almost unavoidable to ask you about. You either turn out to be
Jane's brother, Hank Fonda's son. I mean, those comparisons along the line?
Yeah, well, they're bound to happen. I mean, you know, everyone has a father and a mother.
Yeah.
So biologically speaking, I'm Henry Fonda's son. That's no problem. I'm proud of that.
Yeah.
It's just not my identity.
That's true. Everybody's got to have their own.
And I think I've done pretty well to establish myself as who I am. I don't know who I am, so I think I've done a pretty good job of establishing myself who I am. I mean, I've been able to go sailing for 128,000 miles and sail only. I'm living in a ranch in Montana. I'm still capable of doing all the things I did when I was 24.
Yeah. Are you basically a loner? If you had to describe yourself? More of a private person?
I'm an actor, you know, and that makes me not a civilian, and that makes me uneasy around civilians. Therefore,
People
it's better to be alone.
Yeah, people always assume that actors, by the nature of the work that we do, or appearing in front of the cameras all the time, are gregarious, outgoing people, and it very often turns out not to be the case. You do your work, and you kind of retreat back to what you're comfortable with.
That's right. That's right. However, I was able to have some very nice places to retreat.
Yeah.
You know, going to Montana, going to the boat, and when I was a youngster, growing up, and not knowing that there was a problem being Henry Fonda's son, I got to go to some interesting spots in the world. Christmas in Detroit's great.
And it's rather interesting.
Detroit's, you know.
It's rather interesting. The movie you're doing is about a father-son relationship, Reason to Live,
true.
right?
And when I read the script, John, I was so thrilled with it because I felt that it had good substance to it. And Rick Schroeder, who's co-stars with me, he's such a fine young actor. I really got along well with him. And enjoyed working. It was perhaps one of the most fun I had since maybe The Hired Hand, which was back in 1970.
Did it parallel in any respect your relationship?
Well, no, but there were certain things that I could draw on from my own family background. There was suicide in my family, and several of my friends had killed themselves. And I play a person who has become so depressed that he can't see the forest and the trees. I mean, it's lost. It's like being a pilot. If you fly into a cloud in the whiteout, you panic so badly that even though gravity is still there, you forget about it. Nothing plays. All reason goes right out the window.
Looking forward to seeing it.
At Heifer International, we believe in the power of people, the power to overcome, to flourish, to thrive. And we've seen it firsthand. Since 1944, we've watched more than 39 million people overcome even the greatest of obstacles and move themselves from poverty to power. When a family in poverty is given a goat or a cow, they're given more than an animal. It's an opportunity. It's a chance to start a business, put food on the table, and break the cycle of poverty forever. Heifer works with some of the world's poorest communities. We listen and learn about their problems, work with them to create solutions, and introduce the tools and training they need for lasting success. Ultimately, we support people to stand strong in their role and discover their power, because we know everyone has potential to thrive. All they need is a chance. Learn more today at heifer.org.
What we want to try and do is see if we can entice one of them to actually eat for you. Now, this one is quite large, so
What is this here?
He eats. This is a cockroach.
Ah, a cockroach.
Now, see what he's doing here? He's watching it.
Look at the tongue. Wow.
Now,
Can you see him with a drive-by window at McDonald's? Here's your burger. Wow. I'm sorry we had such a short time to visit. Next time you're out this way, drop in and see us. You're looking sensational, and I wish you much luck with the movie. It's on
5 of them.
Monday night, NBC, from 9 to 11. Reason to Live. Thank you, Peter, for being here.
Thank you very much.
Charles Nelson, come back soon.
Thank you.
Good night. I'm humbled by that applause.
Try Little Caesar's stuffed crazy crust. Everyone loves it, including Justin Jefferson and all his friends.
Stuffed crust? Buttery garlic spread?
That looks mighty delicious, Justin. It sure does, Mr. Pumpernickel. And at $9.49, it's the lowest price in stuffed crust with no strings attached. No strings attached? You want a piece of me?
No, Mr. Pumpernickel. Justin, run.
Order delicious stuffed crazy crust for $9.49 and get your game day delivered with Little Caesars.
Pizza, pizza.
Everybody knows what to do to stay in shape, right? It's like, oh, well, you eat right and you exercise. We know it, but then we don't necessarily practice it.
It's not normal to come out of concerts and clubs with your ears ringing and not able to hear.
You need your ears. You just need your ears. We take it for granted.
And a lot of people just don't think about it because they think tinnitus, oh yeah, that's that ringing in your ears, right? Something that maybe just lasts a couple of minutes.
You know, if you don't know, you don't know. But what you don't know can actually hurt you.
I thought I had decades until something like this was going to happen. I didn't know that there was a lot I could have done to prevent it.
You got to protect your hearing.
Protect your hearing.
Wear earplugs or wear headphones that actually minimize the sound that's going inside your ears.
Take sound breaks. We're constantly on our phones.
This is going to get very real for you a lot sooner than you think.
You're so cool. Your sound isn't blasting and vibrating all the windows. You're still cool.
All aboard, Mother says, and down the hill they fly. They race across the frozen pond. She shoots, she scores, they cry. There's no day like a snow day, a fact you can't deny. Goldfish, the snack that smiles back.
My next guest is a very popular young comedian. Would you welcome Jerry Seinfeld?
We are now adults. We worked hard. We made it to that point. We waited to get to this point that we're all at right now. Getting mail, parallel parking, cookies without asking. This is the power. You can go home tonight and screw around with that thermostat all you like. I didn't touch a thermostat till I was 28 years old. I was so afraid of it. I was in a hotel room when I finally got up the guts. I made it a little warmer. The whole night I thought my father was going to come in. Who touched the thermostat in here? You know, I set it there for a reason. That's my dad. I set it there for what is the reason, Dad? What is the reason? He would never tell me the reason. For years, I waited to hear the reason. One day, he did finally sit me down, told me this whole story, the sperm, the egg, intercourse. I said, Dad, who cares? Get to the part about the thermostat.
Well, I can't top that, so I'm leaving. Goodbye. You're in a good mood for a Tuesday night. Thank you for coming. How are you? Good. Sorry, I shouldn't have asked that. I feel good today. I feel great today. My stockbroker. My stockbroker called me today. Told me to buy Braniff Airlines because it's reached a new low. Did I ever tell you about my stockbroker?
No, tell me.
E.F. Glutton. When E.F. Glutton talks, everybody listens to their Sony Walkman. That's It's going to take me a while to get going. It's been a long weekend. By the way, I know a lot of you are here. You're from out of town. Like to know what to do after the show? I like to plug Burbank because we kid Burbank all the time. But Burbank is a lovely community. A lot of great places to eat out here. Have you been? Now you say right away. You don't trust me, do you? Go to Burbank's famed Restaurant Row. They have a new French restaurant opened last week. Le Barf. It is not the most chic restaurant in the world. I don't trust a French restaurant that has a statue of Charles de Gaulle out front holding a hamburger. There was a late-breaking news bulletin on the wire just before I came out. Jerry Cooney just got a beak transplant from Beep the Goose. I guess you had to go to a theater or to have cable TV to see. How many of you saw that fight? Cooney did hit Holmes a few low blows, and he hit him one. I want to tell you, it was well below the belt. I understand Holmes just signed today to sing alto with the Temptations. Holmes is now signed to fight the winner of the Haig-Gene Kirkpatrick fight. Well, there is some good news, finally. A ceasefire in the Falkland Islands. Right. I'm glad that... Crazy war. Actually, it was a mutual agreed-upon ceasefire because by both sides. And I understand they wanted to evacuate the sheep war brides. You probably have a point there. Guess who retired? It was in the paper. Did his final appearance. You see it? No, not. Lawrence Welk retired this weekend at the age of 79. Yeah, that's I want to tell you. Lawrence Welk is a phenomenon and a nice man, but do not despair. Welk's protege, Myron Florin, will carry on in the tradition. He's hosting a new hip show for kids called Accordion Fever. Lawrence Welk comes from, I believe, South Dakota, back in the Midwest, where I grew up. And a lot of people don't know this about Lawrence, but his personality was formed in his very early years. I think it was one day in the second grade, little Lawrence had to leave the room. And the teacher said, "Why?" And Lawrence says, "I have to do a 1 and a 2. Well, sure, I've been on the air a long time. You know, when they first started, it was sponsored by Preparation G. And Absorbine Senior, I think. Well, let's see. George Bush, our vice president. Remember George Bush? Oh, yeah. It's tough being a vice president, but he left. He's attending the funeral of King Khalid. Khalid or Khalid? Khalid or Khalid? Both are acceptable. I guess so. King Khalid, I think they say, of Saudi Arabia, and the king, as you know, passed away. And he died a true Arab. They dug his grave and struck oil.
You know, the president's back. He's up at Camp David resting after this European trip, and George Bush is in Saudi Arabia. That leaves Al Haig in charge. So what else is new? Peace demonstrations are the big thing. You see the peace demonstration they had in New York City over the weekend in Central Park? 500,000 people showed up. You can always tell a peace demonstration on the news. That's when everyone is getting the daylights beaten out of them. Did you know Orson Welles attended the peace rally in Central Park? And he was arrested by himself for unlawful assembly. Now, here's an item you think I'm making up. I'm not. I'm reporting the news down in Santa Barbara. Do you know about the seagull controversy? Now, scientists have discovered, I guess, what would you call it? It's not a herd of seagulls, a flock or a colony of seagulls, but they are gay. So help me. They have been examining these. As a colony, all I can tell you is they are gay seagulls, and they are a little bit different than from your average seagulls. For example, well, I'll tell you how different they are. For instance, they don't. Okay, I got it. They don't catch fish for dinner, but they have a little quiche and sangria, and then they go to see Lauren Bacall in Woman of the Year. It's a strange. Anyway. I'm not making that up, right? It was in the paper. Gay seagulls. Well, we're living in weird times. Folks, we have a good show for you tonight. We have the lovely Brooke Shields is here tonight. All I can see is, boy, if Skelton knew that. Remember his seagull? Yeah. Very funny comedian George Miller is here tonight. And, gentlemen, if you saw Rocky III, you will know this gentleman. He played in a scene in Rocky III where they did a benefit charity wrestling match versus a boxer. Hulk Hogan is here tonight. He is one big man. So stay where you are, and we'll be back in just a minute. Thank you. No.
For 30 years, one man was the epicenter of news, entertainment, and a whole lot of laughs. Not to mention the guests. Betty White, Carrie Fisher, Oprah Winfrey, Miss Piggy, Billy Crystal, Richard Pryor, Goldie Hawn, Joan Rivers, Carol Burnett, Eddie Murphy, Carl Reiner, Jerry Seinfeld, Ellen DeGeneres, David Letterman, Jay Leno. Watch it all on Johnny Carson TV, a channel dedicated entirely to the godfather of late night. Stream it on your iPhone, Android device, or computer. How hot was it? You'll have to tune in to find out.
Here we are again, friends. Gay seagulls. I'm telling you, I'm reporting the news. I don't know how the scientists found that out, but apparently there's some seagulls that were just a little bit out of the norm. Okay, what can I tell you?
Hint of mint?
Something like that. That seagulls are a little light in the loafers.
Yeah.
Well, they don't wear loafers. How are you feeling this week?
I feel much better.
I hate to keep giving the hospital report,
But you should, because don't let Hulk hurt me, all right?
Ed,
Tell Hulk not
a
to
couple of weeks ago, had a little hernia. Well, not
Right.
a little hernia operation.
Big hernia
A hernia operation.
2 weeks ago today.
Are you feeling better?
Feel much better, yeah. Now it just hurts. It used to pain, now it hurts. But don't let him touch me, okay?
No, Hulk, I told him not to. When
Please.
you get him overhead, don't drop him.
Right, okay.
Well, this is about the time of year. I guess a lot of high schools have graduated. We used to
Colleges.
graduate earlier in May, if I remember right.
Right.
But it seems to be a little later now. And you still have your high school or college annual?
I do not have that,
Well,
unfortunately.
there's a little picture in it where the
remember
kids wrote all
and
the
what they
clever little
promised you
saying.
would do. It suggested you might become.
Yeah, you were voted or what you're going to be the most popular and so forth. When I was in school, neat was a good word and swell.
Swell is a big word.
You've been swell.
Swell to know.
Anyway, they take the class picture, and we unearth some of the pictures. Some well-known people from their high school annual.
And what the class...
And what they said about him. So we thought you might like to see this. We'll find out in a moment if you do want to see them.
This audience will tell you.
All right. And look who is on top.
First one.
Ed, right there. There you go. Now, hold on. Although Ed did not earn a varsity letter, Ed's liver was named mascot of the football team. Let's see who we have here. Here tonight? Is Tommy here tonight?
Yep.
Tommy Newsom. There's a picture of Tommy Newsom. And in his ROTC class, Tommy was voted the cadet most likely to become the unknown soldier. Here is Nancy Reagan. Says, quite the campus social butterfly in her senior year, Nancy was voted the girl most likely to never meet a poor person. Now, you all know who this is, right? Yeah, sure. Boy, Tom Selleck is hot, right?
Oh, he's red hot.
In his junior year, Tom was voted BMOC. Remember what that is?
Sure.
Big man on campus. And in his senior year, he was voted BMHQ. I don't know whether I should do the joke.
You have to. You can't tantalize them like this. What is the joke?
In his senior year, he was voted BMHQ.
Good.
Yeah, let's get along. Big man on the homecoming queen.
A sense of voting for her, huh? In the sense of voting for her to become the queen.
Absolutely.
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 I give a big bet on a horse. It's similar.
Don't over-explain it. Richard Simmons